Great song, huh? Fontella Bass, 1965, Golden Oldie. Well, to most people it's a golden oldie. To the women I seem to meet, it's like their national anthem. Maybe it's the white charger, maybe it's the suit of armor, but for some reason, I only seem to attract the kind of women who are in desperate need of being rescued. Have one of my knights take care of the sound people, please. Thanks. Maybe it's the white charger, maybe it's the suit of armor, but for some reason I only seem to attract the kind of woman in desperate need of being rescued. If only I'll save them, they're convinced their life will be wonderful. Now, there's been a lot of women in my life. I don't deny it. I love women. I don't trust any man who doesn't love women. My problem is marrying them. Take, for example, my first wife, Rapunzel. Great name, isn't it? You don't meet a lot of Rapunzels these days. A lot of Britneys, a lot of Taylors, not that many Rapunzels. I used to just love saying her name, Rapunzel. Anyways, when I first met her, she'd been locked away in a tower by her mother. Should have been my first clue. There's something to be said about a woman who gets locked away in a tower by her own mother. But she begged me to rescue her from that tower. Something told me not to go jump in or get involved. And I told her that, straight out, up front. I didn't want to lie. Prince Charming, after all. But when she let down that long, gorgeous hair, guys, am I right? There is nothing sexier than a woman who, at just the right moment, shakes her head and lets down long, cascading hair. And with Rapunzel, that moment came in spades. Well, all I could think about was how that hair was going to look spread out on my pillow. So what does she do after we said I do? She cuts her hair. Said it was too long. Said it was impractical. It interfered with her backswing. I thought you cared about me. You only care about my hair. My mother was right about you. Before the marriage got going, it was over. Oh, but then I met Snow White. Oh, my God. Went for a walk one day in the woods to clear my head, and there she was, Snow White. If ever a woman was misnamed, it was my second wife. I mean, she lived in a house with 7 guys who worked in a mine, for God's sake. Trust me, cooking and cleaning, not the only service she provided. There's a reason they whistled while they worked. Oh, I know, right? Before she showed up, Happy just called Phil. She told me she was only there because her mother was, stepmother, I could never get that relationship straight, was jealous of her beauty. You see a trend developing here? Beautiful girl, jealous, crazy, vindictive stepmother. But she begged me to rescue her. She said if I rescued her from her life of servitude, she would love me forever. I wasn't going to go rushing in, once burned and all that. But she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, at least a 20. So I told her she would never have to cook or clean again. And she took me for my word. She never cooked or cleaned or got out of bed for that matter. I later learned that her mother didn't banish her. She kicked her lazy ass out of the house. Which leads me to my last wife. And I do mean my last wife. Doctors told me she had some kind of sleeping disorder, though they couldn't pinpoint the cause. Later, she told me in private that her mother had placed some kind of curse on her. See what I mean about a trick? Anyways, I didn't want to believe her, but when she looked me in the eyes and told me that I was the only man that could make her eternally happy, well, from where I was standing, there was no way that face or that body could possibly tell a lie. Anyways, you guys know the rest of the details. I'll spare you the ugly part of the story. But let's just say that when we finally did sleep together, she just slept. So I'm a 3-time loser. What's the point? The point is, fellas, take heed of my story and be very cautious when a woman tells you that you're her Prince Charming. I mean, in my case, it's actually the truth. But what man doesn't want to believe that he's a woman's Prince Charming when she tells him that? And ladies, you know what I'm about to say is the absolute truth. You automatically become instantaneously irresistible the moment you tell a man he's your knight in shining armor. It's all part of this happily ever after syndrome that seems to afflict every woman from childhood. Guys, the point is, you can't make an unhappy woman happy. It's impossible. And if you try, you're going to fail. And if you fail once, you're going to try harder the next time. It's only human nature. And soon the failures become bigger and the expectations greater until one night you reach that Cialis moment. When she looks you in the eyes and says, "Don't worry, honey. It happens to a lot of men." But there is a way, yes, there is a way to break this cycle of expectation and failures. If you meet a woman and she mentions the need to be rescued, knights in shining armor, happily ever after, or refers to her mother, even obliquely, or even to having a mother, politely make your excuses and run for the exits as fast as you can. I know this sounds harsh and a little bit bitter, and you might be thinking to yourself, has this guy traded in his tunic and sword for a monk's habit? Up to a couple weeks ago? You might have been right. But then I met this girl. Oh man, quite accidentally. I wasn't looking for a relationship, as you might understand. But there she was. Young, fresh, beautiful. We danced, we talked, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, she's smart. She's independent. She's never once mentioned her mother. She could be the one. So I went to the bar around midnight to get us a couple of drinks and come back, and she's gone. Just like that, gone. She left without telling me her name. What kind of woman leaves without telling me her name? I'm Prince Charming, for God's sakes. But then I thought, maybe she's in some kind of trouble. Maybe she's trying to hide something. If she's in trouble, maybe I can help her. I wanted to know. I was concerned. So I started searching for her. And up to now, I've had no luck in finding her. None. Can't locate her. All she left behind for me was this shoe. So if any of you happen to know a woman missing a Manala Blahnik size 6, have her give me a call. Y'all have a good night.